Welcome everyone. It's another beautiful weekend. My name is Fred. This is the Fred Effect, and today is going to be another insightful educative session. If you are tuning in, do me a favor by liking, subscribing, and sharing so that other people can benefit from the ideas and information we share here. My name is Frederick. I make videos on studying abroad and scholarship opportunities. I have opportunity to go through the study abroad process and have 2 master's degrees on a full scholarship. So what I do on this channel is to share with you the ideas and information that you can also use on your moving abroad journey. Today we are going to talk about how you can become a teacher in the United States if you are from any foreign land. So if you are from Africa, Asia, wherever, how do you move to the US to become a teacher? So I'll be joined by someone who has also gone through the process, and he has taught in America as a foreigner for a very long time. So she's going to share her journey and how you can also make it. This is the biggest study abroad content platform. Do me a favor by subscribing, sharing this so that other people can join in. So we are live on the Fred Effects YouTube page. We are live on the Fred Effects Facebook page. We are also live on X or Twitter, and then we are live on Instagram. We are also live on TikTok. If you are watching us on TikTok, shout outs to you. So I'm going to bring my guest on and we get going. My name is Fred. This is the Fred Effect. Hi, Dr. Britton. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Fred. And hey, viewers. Nice to have me this morning.
Right. So a little bit of introduction and then we can get started.
Okay. So I am Stephanie Williams Britton. I'm an educator. I've been teaching for over 20 years. Initially, I started off in Jamaica as I'm a Jamaican. So I've taught in Jamaica for 14 years. Then I migrated here to the United States, where I've been teaching since 2015. I've been an international educator for the past years, and I have learned a lot about how other teachers can get on to achieving their dreams in becoming an international teacher in the United States. Taught for many years at the elementary level, still at the elementary level, and I'm enjoying it. I'm not sure where Fred went, but let's wait for him to join us back. And we can move on.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still here with you. So apart from you going through the process and becoming a teacher, teaching for a very long time, you also have a platform where you share ideas on how people can go through the same journey you have been through. Kindly talk us through that.
Yes. So on my YouTube channel, Kicking with Dr. Britton, I share step-by-step guides on how teachers can apply from their home country to the United States, whether through direct hire or through a program sponsor, to obtain a teaching job here in the United States. All of my videos that I shared are from personal experience, as well as from other teachers who are here that have shared with me their journey in becoming an international teacher in the United States. So I use this platform to educate teachers who may be interested in getting a teaching job here in the United States. So definitely, if you're interested in getting a job, you don't want to not be a part of this community, you need to run over and subscribe, and you can learn a lot about how you can take your next step to journey here as a teacher in the United States.
All right, so great. If you are looking forward to becoming a teacher in the US, Dr. Britton's channel is the best to, check out the experience she has been through, and also how you can also go through a similar process. So let's start with, how long have you been teaching in the United States?
This is my 9th year from 2015, yes, 9 years.
And which country are you originally from?
I'm originally from Jamaica, and I've taught in Jamaica for 14 years before I transitioned here in the United States.
So is the U.S. currently accepting foreign teachers to teach in the U.S. in 2024?
Yes, there is a teacher shortage, not just in the United States, as we will know if you're an educator. There's a teacher shortage everywhere, and USA is included, and they have, in the past couple of years, been recruiting teachers from outside of the country, and it has been getting even more and more each year, they're recruiting more international teachers to fill vacancies in their classrooms, specifically teachers of math, science, and special education. I personally collaborate with a program, International Alliance Group. They are a teacher sponsor, and they are currently recruiting teachers for the 24-25 school year. So if you've never heard of International Alliance Group before, you can certainly check them out. I shared several videos on my channel that they're recruiting teachers to come to the United States, and you could be here as early as July of 2024 and be in a classroom for the 24-25 school year. So definitely teachers are being recruited internationally, and teachers are always needed to fill the different classroom that are needed of experienced, qualified teachers.
So let's talk about your personal journey. What was your academic background? You mentioned that you have taught for like 14 years. What was your previous academic background in Jamaica before moving to the US as a teacher?
Right. So for any teacher who's interested to teach in the United States, doesn't matter which country you're from, you first need to acquire a bachelor's degree in education. So that's one of the basic requirements, a bachelor's degree in education. Specifically, if you're thinking to go on a program sponsor, they're going to be strict on in education. If you're going directly to a school district, it might be a bachelor's in a specific subject area. It doesn't have to be education. For example, it could be a Bachelor of Science in maybe technology if you're going to be teaching computer sciences, or a Bachelor of Sciences if you're going to teach computer science. But for the program sponsors, they require a bachelor's degree in education as well as 2 years experience teaching in your home country. In addition to that, they want to know that you are fluent in English. And if English is not your first language, then they want to see some type of exam results that you are proficient in the English language. Some program sponsor, and I keep saying program sponsor and direct hire because there are different ways. Some program sponsors might say you need to be able to drive. So they want to see that you have a driver's license for at least 2 years in your home country, and you are driving some amount of days for the week back and forth to school. They also require a criminal background check to see that your background record is clear. So those are the basic things. The biggest one is having a bachelor's degree in education and being proficient in English.
Great. So you can send in your questions live on Facebook, Instagram. You can also send your questions on YouTube. I'll be reading them to Dr. Britton in few minutes. Later on in the show, you can join us live and talk to Dr. Britton. I'll also let you know how you can get in touch with Dr. Britton to assist you through the process if you're interested. There is a website, there's a Facebook platform, there is also an Instagram and YouTube platform. So I'll be sharing that with you in a jiffy. So send in your questions, and then I'll be asking Dr. Britton. So Dr. Britton, in some places like Ghana and Nigeria, they don't have a straight 4-year bachelor's degree. There's something we call a diploma in education, where sometimes it's either 2 years or 3 years. And when they are done, they have a top-up. So at the end of the day, the individual has like 2 separate transcripts, 2 separate CGPAs, 2 separate certificate. In this case, what should a person do?
That's similar to what a bachelor's would be. For example, and I should go back to Jamaica. In Jamaica, that's how we do it as well. We go first to do our teaching diploma, which is for 3 years in most cases. And after your teaching diploma, then we move on to do the bachelor's degree for maybe an additional year. Okay. So to get that job in the United States, when they ask you, because one of the biggest requirements for you to see if you are eligible, because they want to see if your credentials are similar to theirs, they're going to ask you to get your credentials evaluated through a company. Now, when they ask for that accreditation, that's when you're going to send your diploma that you mentioned and the top-up degree or the top-up qualifications that you mentioned. So once they get that evaluated, if is equivalent to a bachelor's degree in the United States, then they're good to go. So it doesn't necessarily have to say a bachelor's in education from Ghana, but if they have their 2-year degree, as you mentioned, and that top-up qualification, they're going to send all those to be evaluated to see if it's equivalent to a bachelor's degree. If it is equivalent, then they will be accepted if the school, interview them and is interested in getting them to teach in the United States.
All right. So let's juice it up a little bit. Is the money good? You have taught in Jamaica for 14 years and moved to the United States. Comparatively, is the money good teaching in the U.S.?
So let me tell you this, and I say it all the time to Jamaicans: teaching anywhere in most countries is not a well-paid profession.
Okay.
Teachers are not well-paid. So the money, when we are going to say it's good for Jamaicans, is when we send it back home and look at the value of it when we send it back home to Jamaica, because the value of $1 Jamaican dollar, or should I say $1 US in Jamaica, is 150 Jamaican dollars. So the value is a lot when it's sent home. So if we look at it that way, and you are thinking to achieve some goals in your home country, that is workable, that's doable. Here in the United States, it's not a well-paid profession. However, if you are in a school district that is paying you comfortably enough to take care of your bills, you will survive. And in most cases, you will be in an area that you are paid comfortable to pay your bills, take care of your entertainment, food stuff, and still send something back home.
Okay.
So it's not any extraordinary what doctors, lawyers, and
All right, so I lost Dr. Britton. I think the connection is messing up a little bit, but I'm sure I'll get her back. So if you're watching us, we are live on The Fred Effect. Today we are talking about how you can become a teacher in the US, and I'm speaking with Dr. Britton. Dr. Britton is originally from Jamaica. She moved to the United States as a teacher, and she has been teaching for almost 9 years. So she's sharing her journey, her experience going through the process, and also to educate you on how you can also do it. So send in your questions. You can send your questions via the comment. Type in your question. I'll be reading them, and then she will be responding to them in due time. Also, you can join us live later on. I'll be posting the StreamYard link so that you can join us live and interact one-on-one with Dr. Britton. She has also been assisting a lot of people one-on-one to go through the process, how you can apply for the jobs, the documents you need. She'll review all that for you, and let you know which school district and stuff like that to apply to. So later on, I'll be sharing that as well. I think she's back. Welcome back, Dr. Britton.
Sorry about that. I don't know what's happening with this internet, but technology, it will.
That's
technology,
absolutely fine. Yeah.
Right. So I was saying, in some school districts, you can, and another addition I'm going to put to that. So for some states, for example, in South Carolina, their base salary is for a teacher with 1 year experience might start at $44,000 for the year. States like Georgia, their base salary might be $46,000. That's starting for the year. In Texas, in some school districts in Texas, their base salary starts at $56,000 per year. So every state has their own salary scale, and that's something you can always check out as well on this school district's website. For example, if you see a school district in Texas you're interested in, you should be able to find their salary scale on the website and see what their base salary is. We have states, for example, maybe in District of Columbia, states up north, their base salary might be more. So it's going to be dependent on the state. It's going to be dependent on the cost of living that you're of the state. That's going to determine what your salary is going to be like.
All right. So some specific field like nursing, you need to write a certain exams. Some professions require some professional exams to write. Does teaching in the United States also require an exams like that?
Yes. So If you are to go on a program sponsor, which offers the J1 visa, you wouldn't need to write an exam off bat because that's a cultural exchange program. So they're basically responsible for you, and they are going to assist you in getting a international teaching license. What they're going to use your credentials once it's evaluated and you are equivalent to the US degree system, then they can, assist you in applying for an international teaching license, and you would not need to do an exam at that time. However, if you are applying directly to the school district, you are going to be required to do some form of exam to get your licensure. They will offer you at least a year. Some school districts offer at least 3 years time frame for you to get that exam completed. Different states have different exams. For example, in South Carolina, you do the praxis, and all of these are shared in detail on my YouTube channel. So in South Carolina, you do the praxis exam. In Georgia, you do the GACE exam. And so every state has their own teaching licensure exam that you need to take. But as I explained, if it's a teaching program you're coming on, you wouldn't need to worry about that initially. But if you're coming on H1B where you're going directly to the school district, they're going to ask you, they're going to talk to you about that, they're going to give you a time frame in which you should get this exam completed.
Right. So I'm glad you mentioned the H1B. I'm going to ask about the categories of visas one needs to teach. So as a student, you either need an F1, M1, or J1. So I'm going to come to that. So if you're watching us, you're still live here with the Fred Effect. This is the biggest study abroad content platform. Today we are talking to Dr. Britton. Dr. Britton has a YouTube channel. She has years of experience teaching in both Jamaica, moved to the United States, taught for almost 9 years and all that. So she's sharing her experience and also telling us how you can go through it. You can also type your questions in the chat. Let me know which country you're watching us from. Are you watching us from Jamaica? Which country are you watching us from? What is the time at your end? So Dr. Britton, let's talk about the category of visas. Before we come to the categories of visas, let's talk about what level, having a bachelor's degree from your home country, are you coming to teach? Is it the high school level? Is it the primary level? What level is the person coming to teach?
The level you teach is going to be dependent on your credential evaluation. So if your bachelor's degree is in early childhood education, that's how we do it in Jamaica. You can have a bachelor's degree in early childhood education, or you can have a bachelor's degree in primary education. You can have a bachelor's degree in secondary education. That is going to determine the level you're going to teach. My case was a little different. I had a bachelor's degree in primary education in Jamaica, but when I came here on my program sponsor, I was certified as an early childhood educator. So my international license said early childhood trained teacher, which is not far because I'm still in the elementary school system. It's just that I'm teaching the lower grades, which is second grade. Okay, so if you have a bachelor's degree in secondary education, more than likely you're going to be teaching between middle school and high school. If you have a bachelor's degree in primary education, then you're going to be teaching the primary grades. And that's something we can discuss as well. In the United States, the grading might be different. As an early childhood educator, you can teach between the grades pre-K and second grade. If you are an elementary teacher, you can teach pre-K to grade 5, sometimes up to the middle school, which ends at 8th grade in some rare cases. And then if you're a secondary school teacher, you can teach middle school, which starts at grade 6 to 8, or you can teach the high school, which is grade 9 to 12. So the grade you teach is going to be dependent on your credentials that you have in your home country and the license that you will be getting once they do the evaluation to see what type of license you are supposed to obtain, whether it be primary, elementary, or secondary.
Great. So you mentioned that you had years of teaching experience in Jamaica. Do one necessarily have to get some years of experience? Maybe the person just graduated from, bachelor's degree. Do you necessarily need some years of experience teaching in your home country before you move to the United States?
Yes, for the program sponsors, they want you to have at least 2 years of teaching experience in your home country.
Okay.
Some program sponsors are flexible and say, okay, if you're in your second year of teaching, that means you would have completed 1 year and you're midway in your second year. You know, by the time that year is finished, you're going to be here. You would have gotten that full years under your belt. So they want at least 2 years teaching experience in your home country. Some school districts will be flexible, but for the most part, they're going to need at least 2 years in your home country as experience. And sometimes they do look into your teaching experience years, you know, while you're studying, and you do those, I don't know what you call it in Ghana, if you call it teaching experience. That's when you're still studying, but you're getting that practice in the school setting. They like asking about those as well.
Okay, so in Ghana, most of the education programs, your last semester is going to be 4 years. Your last semester, you move into the field as a teacher, teaching practice. That's how they call it. All right, so let's talk about if you want to visit the U.S., you need a B1, B2 visa. If you want to school, you need a J1, F1, or M1 visa. If you want to teach, what category of visa do you need?
So to teach in the United States on a program sponsor, if you go through a program sponsor, they offer the J1 visa. The J1 visa is a cultural exchange visa, and it allows you to come here and work in the United States, in most instances initially for 3 years, with the possibility of extending it for 2 additional years. With the J1 visa, if you are married and you have a family, you have children, they can travel to the United States with you, and they are offered the J2 visa, which is the dependent visa. Your family can work, which is your husband or your wife. They can apply for a work permit on the J2 visa, and they can find their own job to teach. They can find their own job. They don't have to be teaching, and they can work anywhere and with any country in the United States on their J2 visa. However, as a J1 dependent, as a J1 holder, you are only allowed to work for the school that you are placed in. Is that clear?
Yeah.
So, for example, when I came to a school district in South Carolina. I had a J1 visa. I could only work for that school district. But my husband, on the other hand, when he applied for his work permit on his J2 visa, he could seek employment with any company in the United States. So that's one type of visa that the program sponsors usually offer. I do share about a lot of the different program sponsors as well on my platform. Now, another type of visa is the H-1B visa. This is the one where the school districts usually sponsor if they're going to hire you directly and you're not going through a program sponsor. It's a work visa which allows you to work in the United States for up to 6 years. Initially, they will give you 3 years on it. In some instances, you will get 1 year. If it is a school district where they're going to say to you, your contract is dependent on you passing the teaching licensure exam, they're only going to give you an initial 1 year on your H-1B visa. And when you pass that teaching licensure exam, then they'll renew it for the additional years. But you can be on the H-1B visa for up to 6 years. It's also a dual intent visa, meaning you can transfer from the H-1B visa to permanent residency. Now, not saying you cannot do that with a J1, you can, but with the J1, it's going to take some more going around because that's a cultural exchange visa, and you're expected to go home when your time is finished. So, J1, H-1B. Those are the two main ones that you can teach on in the United States. What if your husband or your wife is a teacher and they got a job in the United States and they were offered the J1 visa? You came with him or her on the J2 visa. You have teaching qualifications as well. You can seek a teaching job on your J2 visa. Because remember, I said earlier that you can teach, you can find a job anywhere on your J2 visa. So if you have a J2 visa as a dependent, you can also seek a teaching job if you have the credentials.
All right, great. So I'm gonna ask you the list of documents that one needs to put together. Before we go to that, there's somebody asking a very good question here. Does volunteer teaching count as experience? will you count that as an experience?
They can get paperwork to show it, because what they will do is they will ask you to get your verification experience form completed. If you can get your experience verified that yes, they volunteered here as a teacher, that can be shown on paper, because in the United States everything is in black and white. Then if they can get that to show it that it was done, it might be accepted. I did not say yes, I say it may be accepted.
Great. Yes. So we have over 500 people watching us across all our platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, on X, and also on Instagram, as well as on TikTok. So remember, the name of Dr. Britton's Facebook page, YouTube page is Kicking with Dr. Britton. So Kicking, when you go to YouTube, that's where you have to type to find Dr. Britton's channel. Is Kicking with Dr. Britton. And when you go to Facebook too, it's the same thing, Kicking with Dr. Britton. I want to show that one real quick. So let me take this one off and then show the Facebook page as well. On Facebook, it's the same name, and this is how it looks like. So Kicking with Dr. Britton. She shares her experience and how you can also, and every current information she posts them. Now she also has a website where you can go and schedule a private one-on-one conversation if you want to go through similar process. So the website is called Supremacy Connect. It's supremacyconnect.com. That is where you can get in touch one-on-one with Dr. Britton. So she will talk more about that. So in terms of the one-on-one consultation, what should people expect, Dr. Britton?
So what I do with Supremacy Connect is this. I try to provide all my information free on my different social media platforms. So if you go on Facebook and you go on YouTube or IG, you can find information free of charge, free of cost, no money for those. But there are sometimes, and this is what happened, a lot of people, they go on my YouTube channel and they get the information there, but they still need more clarification. They need somebody to guide them throughout the process. They need somebody to tell them step by step, what should I do first, what should I do next, what should I do after. That's how my website came about. So if you have gone through all the platforms and you still think you need some more guidance, then you can sign up through my website and pay for a one-on-one consultation service. Or if you have a group, I know sometimes people might not be able to afford the one-on-one consultation service, but if you can get a group of teachers, I think that's the group session right there. If you can get a group of teachers, a maximum of 10 people to come together and get the information, I also accommodate group. I also accommodate group sessions. So yes, as Nani is saying in the group, the one-time session, it's for $80, 45 minutes, but you will get information that is needed and you can move on with your process. However, you can also get that information free of cost, free on my YouTube channel. There are videos on there that give you step-by-step guide as to how to start and bring you all the way to the end. So if the website is not for you, which is totally okay, you go on the YouTube website and you use that information to your advantage.
All right.
So for those who want to get that one-on-one, that's when you go on the website.
All right. So if you're just wondering, I just shared the link to the website. It's www.supremacyconnect.com. So Supremacy, SUPREMACY, Connect, CONNECT.com, and then you can connect with Dr. Britton to assist you through the process. So she is on Instagram, she's on Facebook, she's on TikTok, almost all the social media platforms. So it's easy when you get somebody who has experience going through the process, and you also want to connect, and then she's going to help you out.
Right. Let me add to this also. I know Nana was saying it's expensive, and that's why we have that group session for 10 people for 300, that's like $30 per person. So if you can get a group of teachers together who need the information, that is still going to work out very cheap, and you will leave out being educated on your next steps as well. So you can always look into the group sessions.
Yeah, I love that. So if you're a head teacher, if you have a group of teachers in your school that you're teaching, you can organize yourself, have a meeting with Dr. Britton for her to assist you guys go through the process. I think that's way easier, and thank you for doing that, Dr. Britton. So let's move on with the other questions. So if you are watching us now, you can send your questions. I'll be asking her, and she's going to help you through the process. So we spoke about the various, visas required when you want to teach in the U.S. So if you're already in the U.S. on any category of visa, maybe a visitor's visa, a student visa, can you still teach?
So if you're in the U.S. on a B visa, which I shared a video on that as well, if you're in the United States on a B visa and you have the credentials to teach, you have the bachelor's degree and all the things we mentioned earlier, if you apply for a job and you are accepted, what they will do is apply for you to get a transfer of status, because you could not work on your B1, B2 visa. That's a visitor or business visa. So once you're accepted, what they will do is get their lawyer to do the transfer of status and transfer you to either the H or the J1 visa. In most cases, if it's the J visa, they will maybe ask you to return to your home country to apply to get that stamp and then re-enter the country. If it's the H1B visa, you might not need to leave because they can get that approval here and you can continue working in the United States. But whenever you leave the country, then you'll have to get that stamped in the book to re-enter. So that's a good question. You can, and I say this as well, you can seek a job on your B1, B2 visa if you're here in the United States, but you cannot work your B1, B2 visa. I want to make that clear. Okay. So you can seek a job. Nothing is wrong with seeking that job, interviewing for the job, but once you are offered that job, you need to make it clear that you're going to need sponsorship, or even before, and you need to make sure you're not working on your B1, B2 visa. There must be some adjustment of status to change that visiting visa to one of the work or cultural exchange visas.
All right, shout out to Evans. God bless you for tuning in as well. Benga is asking on Facebook, on YouTube, that is there an age limit?
There usually is not an age limit, but you want to make sure that you are able to manage what is required of you. When you look on any of the job descriptions, it must be things that you are able to do. So most teachers in the United States, they retire at age 60 or 65. And in some cases, after they retire, they still go back to teach. So you find teachers in the classroom 67, 68, 70, but they are healthy and they can afford to fulfill all the job descriptions. So there's not really an age limit, but take into consideration, can I manage what is being described in the job description?
In terms of schooling in the US, if everything goes successfully, one can do the process between 3 to like a year. If someone should start a process now, how long does it take for the entire process to go through?
It's going to be dependent on the school district or the program sponsor. For example, some program sponsor already closed their application process last December for this summer coming up. And so they're working on getting teachers to get their visa at this point. So some program sponsors, as I mentioned earlier, like International Alliance Group, they're still open and taking applications. So what that means, if you put an application in now, it's March, you might be ready to come to the United States by July or August, or if there's a delay, it might be September. I know last year some teachers came September, October because there were delays. So it's going to be dependent on a number of factors, and that's why I usually encourage teachers, if you're sure this is the route you want to take. You want to start early so that you can get to the United States before school opens and be ready for your students to come in. Because if you go after the kids, it's kind of hard for you to get, acclimatized to the classroom, to the work environment, because you just went straight from your home country and straight to the classroom. So if you want to make sure everything is done on time, I usually say start applying November, December of the year before. So like now, we're starting the new year, August. You should have put your application in, say, last December or January, so that your thing is sorted out on a timely manner and you can get to the United States by July. But it's not impossible. It's not impossible. If they need teachers, they can speed things up for you to be here.
Great. So someone is asking of the major documents required. If you want to school, you need a bachelor's. If you want to have like a graduate program, you need your certificate, transcript, letters of recommendation. Let's start with what document does one have to put together to start the whole process?
Need to first start thinking about getting their credentials evaluated, which I mentioned earlier. Take your bachelor's, or should I say your diploma that Fred mentioned earlier that they do in Guyana. You say it's a diploma, right?
Yeah.
Your diploma in teaching and your top up that you did after your diploma. You want to put all those things that you did together and apply to get them evaluated through one of these credentialing body, so that when you're applying for the programs, you can show that yes, I have credentials that is equivalent to a bachelor's degree in education.
All right, Dr. Britton, let me come in here. So the credential evaluation, there is one being done when you want to school. So remember that the academic evaluation is different from the professional evaluation. So for example, if you are using WES, make sure that you choose that you're applying to a job and not applying to a school. Kindly continue.
Yes, and I can, through my website as well, I did partner with Spantron. So if they're definitely going to be using Spantron, if they go through my website, they can apply for their evaluation through my website. If you go on, I think, our services, and what it does is they will get a $20 discount if they use Spantron on my website. Go down there, right there. Come back up right here. It's right there. Good. So if they hit that link on my website, they're basically taken back to Spantron, because you see Spantron logo is there. But what it does is it is set up so that they are focused only for the educational purpose, for a job-related purpose, and not to study in the United States. So it's straightforward, it's easy, and they save $20 if they do it through my website. So that's one of the main documents they are going to need to have credential evaluation. They're going to need to have their certificates to show their diploma, their add-ons, whatever not. They're going to need employment verifications, and whatever company they're applying to, they usually send them that form for them to take it to their ministry or to their headmaster, however they call it in their home country, to get it completed to show the number of years they've been teaching in their home country. You're going to need to do a criminal background check. I'm not sure what they call it in Ghana. In Jamaica, we call it a police record. That's what we call it, a police record. Here they call it a criminal background check. You're going to need to have that, and it should be valid. I know it expires after a while, to show that you have a clean background check. You're also going to need to show that you are proficient in English if English is not your first language. So if you did your IELTS exam or whatever English exam you did, you're going to need to show that certification as well. If it's a program sponsor, they usually sometimes ask for a driver's license, because in most instances you have to drive to and from work. And those are some of the basic documents you want to start putting together once you're thinking to teach in the United States. Your bachelor's degree, your credentials evaluation, your background check, your proficiency in English. And I think that's the basic one. But if there's others, I'll just put in the comment section below.
Great. So if you've been able to put all these documents together, what website, how do somebody start with the application?
So there are different websites, there are different programs that they can apply to. I mentioned before FACES, that's the one I came on, that's foreign academic, I cannot remember, but it's FACES, that's the acronym. I'll put it in they are based in South Carolina. There's another one called EPI, Educational Partners. They are based in North Carolina. There's one based in Florida called TPG. Well, they're not based in Florida, but they mainly place teachers in Florida. And we have others like Teachers Council,
Okay, so Dr. Britton is actually sharing with us the various websites that you can go through to apply once you've been able to. So she started with mentioning the various academic the documents you need, or the things you need to put together if you want to start this process. And she mentioned that if you want to evaluate your transcript, other websites are going to charge higher, but she has a link with Spantran which you can use, and then when you use the link which I shared in the comment, you will get $20 off if you use the Spantran link. So I think her network is messing up, so when she's back, I'll bring her on. You're welcome back, Dr. Britton.
Yes.
So you were mentioning,
and I did put a few of them in the chat.
Good. So you were mentioning the various website people can visit. The first one you mentioned is called Faces, which I am showing on the screen now. Is it the correct website?
Yes, that is it. Yes, and that's the one I came on.
Okay, great. So this is the website. I will share the link to the website in the comment and then the description as well. And then you also mentioned EPI and then TPG as well.
Yeah, and all of these programs would have been gone in detail with them on my YouTube channel, Kicking with Dr. Britton. There was a time where I was just focusing on the different program sponsors and showing around, what is it they're offering, where they place teachers, because most of them, they have specific states that they place teachers in. For example, the first one we spoke about was FACES. They only place teachers in South Carolina. And then EPI, which you're on right now, they place teachers in South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, and Virginia. And there's another popular one that's been around for a long time, and I cannot not mention them. They're Participate Learning. They are based in North Carolina, and they place teachers also in South, North, Florida, and Virginia. And they've been around for a number of times. So there are quite a few of them. There's more on my YouTube channel. You can go ahead and check those out. I'm always sharing information there. And all these that I just shared are J1 program sponsors. And how can I not tell you, International Alliance Group, who are still open and taking applications right now. Some of these that we mentioned earlier, for example, FACES, I think their application is closed for the upcoming school year. But I can speak specifically an International Alliance Group. They are still accepting applications for the 24-25 school year. So if you can pull up International Alliance Group as well and show it to them, because they are still accepting teacher applications. So as I mentioned, these are all J1 program sponsors. There are a lot more. I even break down on my channel how you can find other approved teacher J1 sponsors. There's a video on there that talk about, approved J1 sponsors. And then we have the school districts that do their direct hire. For the school districts that do their direct hire, that means you go directly to their website and you apply to the school district, and you don't need to go through a third party, which would be a program sponsor. Some of those school districts, I did share those as well on my website, on my YouTube channel, like Savannah Chatham Public School System, Denver, Colorado School, Bibb County, and District of Columbia, just to name a few that was shared on my platform, that you can go directly to their website and apply for a teaching job with them.
All right, so I'm sharing the links in the comment. If you're asking for it, It's easy. And remember that all these platforms that Dr. Britton is mentioning, you can find them in most of his YouTube videos, so you can check that out. But I'm posting as much as I can. So International Alliance Group, I'm showing on the screen, so you can visit the website. I have also shared that. So thank you very much for sharing this with us. If you're still here on the Fred Effect YouTube channel, we are talking to Dr. Britton, who has years of experience teaching back in Jamaica and has taught over close to 9 years in the United States. She's sharing her experience and how you can also go through the process. So you can also send your questions, and then I'll be reading them. I'll be posting the link so you can join us live and talk to Dr. Britton if you do have any questions. So when it comes to the English proficiency, if you get an English proficiency letter, if your school, your country is an English-speaking country, you did all your courses in English, can you get an English proficiency letter to replace either the IELTS or TOEFL?
Some program sponsors will accept it, some will not, so that's going to be dependent on the program sponsor. I know what IAG does, that's the last one you were sharing. They also have on their website some free English exams, free. Did I say free?
Yeah.
Free, that they can do and print their certificates and, present those when they apply to IAG. And I think they had more than one free ones. The links are on their website and they can complete those. But as it relates to the question, if they will accept a letter from the school, that's going to be dependent on the program sponsor.
Great. So that is it. Let's see if we can pick some questions and then be responding to them as well. So Dr. Britton, in terms of the money involved, I know you came like almost a decade ago. How much in terms of dollars you think one has to invest in this whole process?
All right. So for the J1 program sponsors, most of them, it's free for you to apply. So International Alliance Group, they're free. EPI, TPG, I think all the ones I mentioned, FACES, they're free to apply. Some of them you have to pay, maybe Global Educational Partners or Global Concepts, not sure, so don't quote me on it. But I know some of them you have to pay. Some of them, for example, the free ones, the only money is going to come in play is the money that you're going to spend to do your criminal background check, which I would not know how much is that to do in your home country. The money you're going to spend to go to the embassy to get your visa. The money you're going to spend to get your passport, because you need a passport to travel. So, for example, IAG, if you got a job with IAG, you're not going to spend any money out of pocket to IAG, but monies that you're going to be spending for yourself to get yourself here.
Great.
Okay? So you want to make sure you have those in hand. Some program sponsors, I know, for example, EPR or TPG, they may say, though you apply to us and it's free, we still want you to come into the country with at least $2,000 so that you have money in your pocket before your first paycheck. Not to pay them, but it's a way for you to come with some money in hand because you still have to live before your first paycheck. Okay, so some program sponsors say, we want you to land with a specific amount of money to show that you can take care of yourself before you get your first salary.
Great. All right. So, great. So it's been an insightful section here with Dr. Britton. Remember, you can use the link I'm sharing on the social media platforms, and then you can join us. So let me pick some questions. Somebody, Joseph Osei, is joining us on YouTube, and he said, Dr. Britton, I have applied through IAG and I have submitted all the required information and document, but I have not heard from them. What should such an individual do?
To reach out to recruitment at iagusa.org. Any questions you have, you are not getting the information you need help, any type of assistance, reach out to recruitment at iagusa.org. And I did share that also on my platform. Like, once you have a question, they have people who are working in recruitment who's responsible to, respond to your questions. So send them an email.
Okay, so
I'm going to say you will never have the opportunity, but it's going to be hard for you to find a school or a school district or program sponsor that's going to take you without some form of teaching experience. Because remember, they're taking you from a foreign country to teach in the United States. They want to know you have some form of teaching experience, some form of experience with kids before you are employed. But I'm not saying you will never have the opportunity, but you're just going to maybe have to look longer and harder to find a school district that will employ you without that experience. I'm not going to say you will never have the opportunity, but it's going to be hard for you to find a school or a school district or program sponsor that's going to take you without some form of teaching experience. Because remember, they're taking you from a foreign country to teach in the United States. They want to know you have some form of teaching experience, some form of experience with kids before you are employed. But I'm not saying you will never have the opportunity, but you're just going to maybe have to look longer and harder to find a school district that will employ you without that experience.
Okay, so if you, for example, this individual Atabediako Evans is saying that he's a Ghanaian but he's in the UK, is he qualified to still apply?
He has the credential. If he has the qualifications that I mentioned earlier, it doesn't matter where you are, where you're from, you can still apply.
Great. So Atabediako, you can apply. So what are some of the fields that really need teachers? Is it that maybe the science field, the math field? What are the hot cakes? Can you share that with us?
The main things that they always need: science, math, and special education teachers. Science teachers, math teachers, special education teachers are always needed. And in some cases, English as a second language teachers. That does not mean they do not hire other teachers, because they do, because I'm not any of those teachers. I'm a general ed teacher.
Okay.
So they do hire general ed teachers as well.
Someone is asking a very sensitive question. I don't know if you want to respond to that. I said, Dr. Britton, we hear of the U.S. School security being a cause of concern. Is it safe to teach in the U.S. needing reassurance from you since you are practicing educator?
Noel. Did Noel say you need reassurance from me?
Yeah.
First of all, Noel, I do not know the minds or the hearts of people, not even the ones standing beside me. And we will never know this. It's not just the United States. It's all over. Yes, it's in the news, and it is true. It is happening where schools are being, there's cause for security because of, the different things that's happening. But I cannot reassure you that it's safe or it's not safe, because I cannot tell you that, I see 10 guys down the street and this is what they're going to do. We never know what somebody is going to do. Never know where something is going to happen. So yes, there is a cause. There is some type of, you think about it, because I'm from Jamaica and we do think about it. And I'm sure Fred think about that too. He's studying in the United States. You never know when something of that effect is going to happen, but we just have to try to be optimistic, be positive, for the best.
All right. If you want to join us, make sure. If you want to join us, make sure your video is on before I can put it. So Ado, if you want to join, make sure your video is on before I can put it on. So Kunle is joining us on YouTube. He says, I have a bachelor's of science in education in health education, as well as a master of education in education administration, and planning to teach in the elementary school. Is it possible?
Bachelor of Science Education in Health Education. That sounds like a PE teacher. Is that correct? Masters in Educational Administration. So yes, you could teach at an elementary level as a PE teacher or some health education thing. But what I always say to the people who reach out on my platform is that you'll never know if it's possible until you put your application in. Because we have different states with different people looking over your applications, and they may see something that I didn't see, or a school might see something that another school district did not see. So the best way to find out is to put an application in.
All right. Some people are joining us live in the studio. I don't know how long Dr. Britton can go. How many minutes can you go, Dr. Britton?
maybe 10, 15 minutes more.
Okay, great. Abdul, you need to have your video on before we can speak to you, so please do that.
Where is he joining from?
Okay, Abdul, where are you joining us from? Unmute your microphone and we can hear you.
Good evening. I'm joining from Ghana.
Okay, go ahead.
Abdul.
Yes, and I work and I also teach in a nursing training college. And I want to ask whether it's still possible to teach in any of the colleges or in the schools in the US.
You teach in a nursing college?
Yes.
So you're a nurse or a teacher?
A nurse, but I teach one of their courses, Relationship Marketing Strategy and Entrepreneurship. It's a course that the nursing student offers, and I'm the instructor here. I'm in the school that I work.
So, Dr. Britton, to give you an idea, that is more or less like he teaching at a community college in the United States, kind of.
Okay. So in that case, then he could look at community colleges for jobs as well, because some of them do. Some community college, they do sponsor international teachers as well as universities, and I'm sure Fred might be aware of that. Some universities and community colleges, they do sponsor international teachers. It's just that you'd have to find that college that offers those services and apply.
Thank you for joining us, Ado. Nanajua, you need to have your video on before you can talk to us. So if you could kindly do that, that would be great. Nanajua, can you hear me? So your microphone is muted as well. All right. So it's been a great session. Dr. Britton has touched on the documents you need. She also touched on the various websites you can visit to start your application. Remember, if you need guidance from somebody who is experienced, has gone through the process. And one interesting thing is you can have a group of people and you schedule a meeting with Dr. Britton. If you want to have information on how to go about it, she has a Facebook page, she has an Instagram page, she has a YouTube page that you can learn a lot. Now, if you want to evaluate your transcript, you can go through the Spantran. If you use Dr. Britton's website, you can get 20%, $20 off. Am I correct?
$20.
Yeah, $20 off when you use her website. So I shared the link and then I also showed it on the screen. So remember, you can check out this video at any point in time when we finish with a live session, and you can have a lot of information from there. So Dr. Britton, what would be your last words to anyone watching us at the moment?
Okay, so I saw one question that I wanted to answer from David. He was asking, will Savannah Chatham County Public School employ someone who is not resident of the United States? A lot of Jamaican teachers work there, and that should answer your question. Not just Jamaicans, but we have a lot of Indians, people from Romania, people from all different countries work in SCCPSS. So thanks for that question, David. But guys, my last words, it's never done until it's over. So if you are interested in teaching in the United States, the only way you're going to find out is for you to start by putting that first application in. A lot of my viewers reach out to say, will I get a job? Will I get a job? And I'm always responding, you'll never know if you get a job until you put your application in. The application is free. It's free to apply to the program sponsors. It's free to apply to the school districts. So go ahead and put those applications in and see what's going to be your next step. If you need more information on how to do it, over to my YouTube channel where I share in-depth, sometimes step-by-step guide and how you can become an international teacher in the United States. Go ahead, subscribe, and you will be updated. You can also share other information of things you'd like to see on the platform. I like talking about the YouTube channel because it's free and not everybody's able to, get a session on my website. But then if you've gone through the website, gone to my YouTube channel, and you feel you need that one-on-one consultation, then you can move over to my YouTube channel, my website, which is supremacyconnect.com. But guys, wishing you all the best of luck in your journey to teach in the United States. You can do it. You just need to start by applying.
All right, so it's been an insightful section with Dr. Britton here. Thank you for making time to share your ideas and experience with my followers as well. Thank you so much. I'm sure one day I'll pull up on your channel too. So
I want you to.
yeah, I love the Jamaican accent. The way.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. All right. So my name is Fred. This has been the Fred Effect. That was an insightful session with Dr. Britton. If you want to teach in the United States, it's possible. If Dr. Britton has been able to do it, you can also do it. So if you have the qualification, please start today, and then before you realize, you would already be here. It's always been great coming your way with insightful sessions like this. Remember that this is the biggest study abroad content platform as an African. It's been a great one. My name is Fred. This is the Fred Effect. Be positive. Everything will be fine. I'll see you in another one.